In the Nintendo Direct, as I come down from my panic attack, the Nintendo Direct happened right after the last podcast, about the next day or two.
Yep.
Which is why we should go weekly at some point, but it won't happen. Well, maybe if I had that editor, it'd be more possible. But the Nintendo Direct happened, and yes, we have the new Animal Crossing coming out. Isabelle is coming out in Smash, which
she's going to be in Smash. That made me very happy.
Adorable to kill people with. I always like that. Almost as adorable as when they announced Pac-Man. So yeah, Pac-Man's going to rough some shit up on that. So that was kind of like the bigger highlights from that, and Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yep, they announced a bunch of Final Fantasy stuff. Basically, every Final Fantasy at some point will be available on the Switch and everything.
But the biggest release that came out, what was it, on the 19th, less than a week ago, was the Switch Online service is launching a year after it was originally planned. It's up and going.
Yep, it's here, and it's an online service. It's you pay your money, and now you pay money to do what you were kind of doing beforehand. You pay your $20 a year, and you're online.
But you get some frills. There's frills.
It's $20. It's
$1. It's $1.75 a Pat Math a month, right?
It's not expensive. I'm not upset with the price. I do not care.
Do people have a right to be upset, being that it's so cheap? Do they still have a right to be upset?
People can be upset about whatever the hell they want, but it's kind of silly when your other systems are charging you $60 a year.
Is it $60 a year for the other two, roughly?
And $60 a year for the other two.
Microsoft Gold.
And
Gold.
I have to look and see what kind of deals Nintendo is offering, but they said that you get access to deals if you're a member, and you get discounts on games through Xbox and Sony, for being a member of their online network. One of the big features about the Nintendo Online service is the access to the Nintendo game library, which we'll talk about.
We'll talk about
that.
We'll get into that.
The other thing that I think is pretty interesting to note that a lot of people are what's that?
Get the voice chat.
Yeah, you get
that no one's going to use
the phone app. I see. Well, I know people who use it, but yeah, I don't know how.
So you got to
adopt it. It'll be.
You got to go on the app.
Uh-huh.
Either have headphones connected to that, or just have the speaker on, right?
Yeah.
You connect it to your Switch.
You don't have to connect.
You don't?
No.
Okay, so it knows.
No, that whole fucking
convoluted thing's gone.
That I don't know exactly how. I think you just sign in with your Nintendo ID.
Okay.
And pick the game. The whole.
And automatically know what game you're in and put. Okay.
I think I have to still look at that. All I know is that the whole crazy setup with the Splatoon 2 thing is gone. Okay. That's done.
All right.
One thing that's important to note, I think, especially when we start looking at the cost, is family plan, $34.99, up to 8 accounts.
It's 8?
8 accounts.
Holy shit!
And I got to tell you, Vonnie and I did that, and we spread them out amongst family and friends.
Not me.
And because you've got yours.
What?
Spread them out among family.
It's like being in your 5 in the cell phone, the free people you call. Remember that? I'm not important enough to be in that circle.
And $35. Figure it out. 8 people. It's nothing.
Ian math. What is that? That's like $4.38, something like that.
Free stuff.
Oh, maybe not that far off from that, actually.
Yeah, which equals out to cents a month if you split it up. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah. So it's very little.
It's not like you're not getting any sort of value for it. I mean, because it's just starting off. So when I see people say, "Oh, it's just shit," and who cares? It only doesn't cost that much. Well, no. If this was $100, you have the right to complain more because you're not getting any value. You're getting some value for $20. It may not be as much as you want, but the online game service to me is worth some of that, and this is just the start of it, right?
Right. It all depends on how you want to frame it.
12 months, $35 for the family, up to 8 Nintendo account holders. Shit.
And if it was just the 20 for the game service and it was, described a different way on a different system by a different company, I don't think anyone would be complaining like this. The cloud save thing, I kind of understand some people's...
Oh, sure, there's a cloud save.
Concerns about them deleting it as soon as it goes, you lapse on payment. However, I guess I didn't look at cloud saves as a way of storing stuff when my
It's more of a backup, right? Because you
when
saw it
my
locally?
when my memory ran out, I just simply looked at it as a way to back up saves in case a problem happens. So
Sure.
if I lapsed a day or two on it, I don't think it would be the biggest deal in the world.
Well, I don't think Nintendo's going to be like, all right, you're saying you're not going to roll over. We're going to just dump it entirely. I would think that they wouldn't be like that. Maybe give you like some sort of like 1 or 2 week period. Because when someone runs your credit card, usually when you have a subscription to something, if it doesn't clock through correctly, it's not like they wipe out your service. Like we're on Podbean right now. And if my credit card doesn't go through, it's not like they stop hosting the podcast. They give you like a month or so to work it out. So I'm hoping Nintendo would be reasonable. You think they'd be reasonable and give you a chance, say if your credit card number changed and you're on the automatic, renewal, they're not going to say, "Oh, fuck you, your Breath of the Wild saves are gone." I wouldn't think they would do that. That'd be terrible business to do that. It wouldn't be worth the time even to do that, You want to go through the 20 NES games they've announced, and they're adding 3 per month. They've already announced, I think, 3 months in advance. Lolo's on there.
Oh, nice.
Super Dodgeball's on there.
I figured that was coming.
Now here's the thing though, Super Dodgeball, it's only 2 players on the Beanball, unfortunately, for the US ROM. But I wonder if you can get that Japanese one. If you get the Japanese, you can get the Japanese games. You can do that switcheroo thing with the different accounts on your same Switch. You can get access to the Japanese Famicom games. Mm-hmm. But it stinks now because now I get Japanese news, so I got to figure out how to get rid of my Japanese. Anyway, here's the 20 NES games that launch right now. It's like 90% the NES Classic, or with the Famicom Classic, it's like 100% almost. Balloon Fight, Baseball, Donkey Kong, Double Dragon, Bubble Deathmatch Challenge, Dr. Mario, Excite Bike, Ghosts and Goblins, Gradius, Ice Climber, Ice Hockey. Yes! Mario Brothers, that'll be fun. Pro Wrestling, woo. River City Ransom, yeah. Well, that was the one in Japan. They had that on the Famicom Classic. Soccer, Super Mario Brothers, 1 and 3, not 2. Tecmo Bowl, Tennis, Legend of Zelda, and Yoshi. It's a damn good list to really take advantage of the 2-player simultaneous action. They did their best to swap out. Now, it's interesting that they don't have Double Dragon 2, they have Double Dragon 1, just because you really want Double Dragon 2 to have the 2-player experience.
Right.
For that. So that's interesting. I'm not sure if that was, maybe they're waiting to come later on that. That to me is sort of an interesting one there. They decided to do that. Ice Hockey and Pro Wrestling were the 2, at least Ice Hockey was a glaring omission from the NES Classic.
I felt like both of them.
But definitely Ice Hockey.
I feel like you needed at least one of those.
Because Ice Hockey is such a Nintendo-esque game to a T on that console. And it's extremely well done. It's probably the best done sports title they had in those first couple of years that they had, to me. Baseball's fun. You're not going to have a fun 2-player action on that. You know what I mean? But tennis is fun, 2 players. River City Ransom, obviously 2 players is like a must. For that, and that's something that you can come back and continue the game later on,
right?
And do that with their save states or using the password or what have you. Yoshi, I think Yoshi's okay. Not in love with it. Dr. Mario is
that game is awful.
Dr. Mario is a great 2-player puzzle game, and remember their Tetris is not 2 players, so.
Dr. Mario is fantastic.
But Dr. Mario's an incredible 2-player game. So this is a great start, and I think. This is not a sort of like, there's no good games here. It's like, there's some good games here, especially 2 players and 1 player. And then adding 3 a month, I think, is a decent amount to add, as long as the other ones don't go away. But we don't know when they announce when they're going to start adding super games or other consoles. That'll happen at some point. We don't know when, or if there's going to be a different tiered system. Now you'd hope it wouldn't be a different tiered system, but this is them, toe in the water for their Netflix style.
Yeah, 3 a month was what I was assuming. They would add 3 to 5.
It's 3 NES for the first 3 months. I don't have that in front of me right now. I'll look it up. But anyway, so you're satisfied with that list though to start?
Honestly, there's not a lot on there that I'll go play, but I don't think it's a bad list. I'll play Ice Hockey. I'll play the Pro Wrestling.
We're gonna play Ice Hockey.
I'll play Mario 1 and 3.
And you can alternate with 3, especially like you can work together, so that's fun.
Yeah, Bonnie and I played some of that the other night. I'll play Balloon Fight. There was other stuff on there that I'd play too. But yeah, I mean it's
that's right. We could do 2-player Balloon Fight.
It's not perfect or the most exciting to me, but I don't think it's a bad list of games to start with.
No, it's not terrible. You just wish that they had maybe more to start. Like maybe they had all the NES classics plus like 10 more nice ones.
If they had the NES Classics list plus the few that are on there that weren't on the Classic, like the ice hockey and the pro wrestling, I think that probably would have been the way to go.
Yeah, like if they
Because I have a feeling over the next 3-4 months, what I'm not so excited about is we're probably just going to fill out a lot of that list.
Sure. I mean, here's what's coming up. So there's only, to their credit, only one per month is a first party title. So maybe that's why they're slowly going into it. So this is kind of exciting. A little out of their comfort zone a little bit. The first month, NES Open Golf, which is like an awesome game.
Yeah.
They should just do regular golf too, just for the hell of it. Just get it on there. Solomon's Key, to me, was a shocker to see that.
It's a good game.
But a shocker. That's like a deeper cut for the NES. A deeper cut. It's a very difficult game. Super Dodgeball is an excellent game, one of my favorites. October, you get Metroid back on there.
Oh.
You get Mighty Bomb Jack, so they have a Tecmo deal going, and you get Twin B, or better known as Stinger.
That's well, no, Twin B and Stinger are totally different.
It wasn't. Which one was Twin B? Was it before Stinger?
Twin B is beforehand, so that means we'd actually be getting an import because Twin B wasn't released here. That's pretty cool.
What was the Twin B one called in Japan?
Twin B.
It was, but you're saying that's not the one. That's not going to be the Stinger.
Stinger is a sequel to Twin B.
Okay. All right. Then it's just a different game, and I'm surprised that it's not going to be Stinger.
Well,
I'm surprised. Okay. Then
show it to me.
it just says Twin B. So.
Oh, okay, then yeah, it's gonna be actual Twin B. That's
Okay.
Cool.
And then month 3, you get Wario's Woods, which is a decent. It's a decent puzzle game. Ninja Gaiden, yes, and Adventures of Lolo.
Oh, that's cool.
So they got some sort of Tecmo deal going on, which is great because the Tecmo library is fantastic. So you can add most of the Tecmo games and people would love it. If they got Tecmo Super Bowl on here, they wouldn't be able to get the licenses for the teams like with Tecmo, but that would be huge since Tecmo Super Bowl is still played to this very day. Tecmo Bowl is still fun, but Tecmo Super Bowl is what people actually consider competitive, esport. So the other thing we didn't talk about, we talked about 2 other things. Getting the online service allows you to purchase the NES or Famicom Joy-Cons.
Yep.
For $60 for a pair. They slide in the side, but you're using them as a regular NES controller. So they look like an NES controller, but they have the little slide-in little attachers on the front.
Right.
So, yeah, I'll buy them. Why not? I'll buy them just for a collectible or, The one thing, though, that I have to address, because I've tried, the Joy-Con sucks ass playing NES games. I'm not going to mince words. I tried playing Dr. Mario. That wasn't the best. It wasn't bad. Excite Bike, I couldn't do it well with that. And yes, you do have the joystick as well. The joystick worked kind of for ice hockey because it's like the NES Max, the best thing you can say for the Joy-Con. But it's not precise for some games. You would not be able to play Super Mario Brothers with that Joy-Con effectively.
Bonnie was doing it. It was crazy.
But to me, you won't be able to have that precise movement over time. But the Joy-Con, the problem with the Joy-Con D-pad is that being that there's no rocker on it, the buttons are just far apart enough that you have to move your thumb off of it to hit from going from up to down for sure or going left to right. You lose that 10th of a second. You have to think a little bit and to react. And even playing Excite Bike, which is more like staccato movement for the most part, it's not good. It's not a good experience. So you're going to have to get one of those 8-bit Duke controllers. The problem with the 8-bit Duke controllers...
Or a Procon. Which I don't know why you haven't gotten one of those yet.
Because I heard the D-pad wasn't the best on those. I've heard.
Better.
But the 8-bit Duke D-pads are fine. You have to get the Pro one because the Pro one has the triggers on the top. So I figured this out too late. When I got into the game and I paired up the regular 8-bit Duke controllers, I had the Super Nintendo one, which doesn't have the extra buttons on it. There's no way to get out of the game to go back because they're not programmed onto that to get back out of the menu.
Right.
So you have to go to another Joy-Con and reactivate it to get back out of the menu to go to your game selection because there's no home button even that would work. But if you get the 8-bit Do Pro one, it has all the buttons is totally compatible. So that's just as a heads up. You got to spend it's only $40 I think for that the 8-bit Do Pro controller, and they have the Super Famicom one and Super NES one. Of course, you want the Super NES one because it has the concave buttons. You can, your thumb gets a little rest on there that you like. But no, so I don't think $20 is a bad deal for this. There's going to be more added later, and yes, it is a bitch that for example people that were playing Splatoon 2 It's like, oh, they're saying goodbye. We're not going to see each other again because they're going to go offline because you have to pay for it. It's $1.75 a month. You steal your parents' credit card if you're 10 years old. If you don't, no, you shouldn't do that. But steal it. So, anything else to add here? We're all switched out on this.
Yes.